Assassin's Creed is one of the most, if not the most, inconsistent series that I've ever played. There's been numerous ups, downs, rock bottom a few more times, but one of the most unifying elements of this series for old fans and for new has to be the music. There's some games in this series that I don't really like that I can admit have some seriously great music that, in tandem with excellent sound and world design, can help elevate marketplaces into active and lively environments, or make fights feel jovial and boisterous, or maybe more perilous and impassioned. Music is truly important to these games, and there's no track that's used more frequently or that holds more magnitude, more prestige than one, which I believe has become one of the most exhausted elements of a long-jaded series. That, of course, being Ezio's family. Oh, hold on. I can't use this here. Ezio's family, to a lot of people, is Assassin's Creed. If you don't believe me, read any YouTube or Reddit comment section regarding it. It's emblematic of a cherished moment in the franchise's history, one where the series began to peak, with its most beloved characters, creative leads, worlds, themes, icons, and of course soundtracks all in tow. The first time that we hear Ezio's family is in the memory sibling rivalry, about 20 minutes into Assassin's Creed 2.
It is a good life we lead, brother.
At best, may it never change.
And may it never change us.
This moment of brotherhood shared between Ezio and Federico hits so hard, at least in part, because it consolidates the importance of family to Ezio. This impassioned piece of music serves to highlight one of the game's key themes and a driving force for Ezio going forward, hence its name. And from here on out, it's used a lot more sparingly than you'd probably think given its popularity. In spite of being the most iconic, universally recognizable piece of music in the series, it's used quite infrequently in the Ezio trilogy, which I think underlines just how effective each use of it was. Later in the same sequence, Earth is used, which uses the same motif as Ezio's family, only a lot more intense and impassioned. The track's first used here when Ezio first embraces his duty and dons Giovanni's robes, bridging the gap between Ezio's blood family and the Brotherhood. A crucial scene that sets the game's most important arc in motion. It's also used in the credits of AC2, but that's not really the main game, so I don't count it. In Brotherhood, it's used twice. Firstly, in the title card drop, a moment where Ezio is unconfident in the decision that he's just made and the ramifications that it'll have on his Brotherhood and the blood family that he's talking to at that very moment. It also closes the book on one arc and opens it on another, setting Brotherhood's story in motion. It's used a second time in the game at the end of Sequence 4, when Caterina leaves Rome. This pivotal moment that comes after Ezio's made the leader of the assassins, his family at this point, as he's given the task of uniting them.
You are the leader of the assassins now. Unite them, Ezio Auditore, and take back Roma. Vittoria agli assassini!
Vittoria agli assassini.
And finally in Revelations, there's a few very subtle notes used when Ezio finally connects with Altair, a man who has had enough influence on Ezio's life, principles, and the Brotherhood he's dedicated his entire being to, that he could be considered family. Concluding his life as an assassin as he takes one final teaching from Altair, that too often duty is allowed to supersede that which truly matters. In his case, family, and that sometimes renouncing duty is the more honourable thing to do. And it's after this that Ezio finally begins a family of his own.
No books. No wisdom. Just you, fratello mio. Requiescat in pace, Altair.
Those few notes of Ezio's family really accentuate an already beautiful ending for these two characters, and although it's really faint, this is my favourite use of the piece, and every use of it in this trilogy harkens back to those crucial themes. Ezio's family was only used to elevate central moments of Ezio's development. There's an argument to be made that each of those 5 moments emphasize a cornerstone of the hero's journey, a template that Ezio's story is the apex of. And that should be it. That should be the end of this video. And it would be prior to 2014. Listen, I really like this theme independent of the game that it belongs to. My problem isn't the track sonically, it's what it represents and the trend that it began. Those themes that I mentioned earlier of family and brotherhood and how they connect to each other and to Ezio that were so consistently analogous with every use of Ezio's family are dropped in Rogue. Like a ton of fucking bricks. This is a game about a person who betrays his would-be family, the brotherhood, and eviscerates them. This game is about something totally antithetical to what the theme represents. Its implementation is just as tactless as a lot of this game is. It's big and it's epic, but rings totally hollow, beginning a several-year-long process of totally contorting the piece into something that is just kind of epic hype music, used here in a fucking menu and the credits of a bad game that stands for the polar opposite of everything the theme does. The same year, a rendition is also used really bizarrely in Unity after you assassinate the King of Beggars and are escaping through the sewers, with just a massive disconnect between a piece of music that took on great meaning over several years and emotionless gameplay that couldn't feel any more detached. And from there on, all the cards began to fall until this was just the AC music in every mainline game since, as well as a few others. Now this didn't need to happen. It didn't exist when AC1 released, and AC3 and 4 had their own unique themes fit to their games that are both great. The games that initially featured this character theme are bookended with games that don't use it because they incorporate different themes and a different protagonist that the piece isn't accordant with and doesn't belong to. And it isn't like there wasn't an AC theme available. Revelations introduced one literally called Assassin's Creed theme, and it's this beautiful, somber piece of music transcendental of setting. It's momentous, big, it's emotional, and it would be fairly applicable in some of the cases where Ezio's family is used rather cynically to activate or heighten an emotional connection with just vapid nostalgia, because that is how it's used now, every time. And its effect is weakened because it's thrust into these games so pessimistically. Ezio's family is a character theme. It is, or at least it was, evocative of themes central to that character, and I think that it's tragic that Ubisoft continues to devalue it by using it where it has no place. Even in Valhalla, which has the most well-integrated use of the track since Revelations, it doesn't belong to this character. And I think it actually does a disservice to characters like Eivor when these pivotal character moments are reframed through the lens of another character entirely, this kind of unwitting giant that Ubisoft have just accepted as an accelerant for emotion. It's even used in mobile games. And unfortunately, Assassin's Creed Identity, that isn't going to make me buy your microtransactions. I usually need a weird, immortal boy to bait me into that one. The overuse and devaluation of Ezio's family is something that I find to be generally emblematic of Ubisoft's approach to classic iconography, features, and fan service more broadly. Writing this video, I realised that a lot of this is applicable to these classic, iconic components of AC that are used totally or not always, but often superficially, to harken back to a time that older fans were probably more fond of, to throw them in trailers a lot of the time, in the hopes of dragging them on yet another adventure that far too many people fall for, thinking that's, you know, the kind of game that it's going to be. Which on reflection, I'm certainly guilty of. Oh, fucking god. Social stuff! Holy shit! Fucking hell! Oh my god!
As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to
look at
outsmart your enemies.
Oh my fucking god! Oh
and
shit!
cities.
It's properly like the fucking the shit from the Black Flag demo.
With crowds,
Oh my god. Give me a break, man. I was 16. Anyway, I think that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and if you didn't, maybe let me know why. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back in a few days with a big video. It should be a big video on microtransactions.